Evening, everyone. It's Tuesday evening, the 11th, and this is video number 754. Going to keep it short and sweet because I want to look at a couple of things in a little different manner tonight. And the same is going to be true of tonight's daily note. It's going to be a shortened version, and it's not going to go into all of the minutia today. There was a 1 hour interview this morning. I posted a 10.5 minute video recap of it. It occurred with David Druckenmiller, who is really one of the better guys on the street. It's a macro look, and it reflects the same feelings that I have had now for over a year, talking to you about inflation and all of the issues and how that affects the markets and the futures and the agricultural and other commodities. And I think it's probably the best 10.5 minute investment you can make. Today we finished with the Dow down just short of 500. It was substantially lower, but it finished down 473 or 1.36%. And the NASDAQ, which was also dramatically lower, they both opened down about 250, 260, and then got worse, came all the way back and closed down just $12.44, or just 9 basis points, which was a pretty nice recovery. But, you have to look at where it's come in the last couple of days. The internals on the NYSE were 3-to-1 to the downside, only 1.5 to 1 to the downside on the NASDAQ. The S&P continued lower. It was down well over 50, finished down 36.33, or just under 0.9%. The Russell came back, closed down only 5, but still down on the day. And the transports, which along with the Dow were setting the world on fire, finished down 221. There were a whole bunch of stocks that really bounced here today. And I'm just going to go over a couple. Roblex, which was a new deal not that long ago. I'm going to switch over to the chart on it, RBLX. And this is the daily. As you can see, this was a new issue not very long ago, and moved all the way from 60. I can't remember where it came, but 60 was a substantially up open. Went from that 60 low all the way up to 83, came right back down and closed yesterday at 64, and that 64 was down almost $4 or 5.7. And $60 was, as I said, down from 83 and change. So it was down 30% from the high, and they reported really good earnings. Everybody was pleased about it, and the stock was never down today while the market was closed pretty much right on the high. In regular trading, it was a high of 77.79 and was up 13 at the extended close. It was a little higher at 78.55 with a high of 79.09. So that was the first one. And then there were a couple that really bounced, but they were stocks that have really gotten hit badly. Palantir, I'll show you the weekly on this. $10 moved from, this is also a weekly, from $10 in October to 33, consolidated for 6 or 8 weeks, and then hit 45. Well, it had already come down had a lower high and had moved substantially lower. So on this one, we have the high of 45, and this morning the stock was trading at 17. So that's down about 2/3, or well, certainly 60%. And this one just turned on a dime and closed at pretty much the high of the day, 3 3/4 off the low, and up 86 cents in post-market trade. But as I said, up on the day, 1975, so up about $1. But for a stock that had come from 45 to 17, this was a really nice bounce. And Jumia, which we'll just say is as they put it, the Amazon of Africa, North Africa. This one's been all over the place. Same situation. Was a new issue, got up as high as 50, move here from 18 to 50 in 2 weeks. Spent the better part of a year coming back in and making a low at 2 1/4. Consolidated across, and last August started higher. This has been a Steve Weiss favorite, and in 6 weeks went from $5.10 to $23.90, consolidated, and then when it broke out in late November of last year, went on a tear from about $12 to 70, 69.89, and came down the same way. Was oversold. I didn't see any news on it. It did, in fact, still finish down $1.36 at 25.31, but it traded 17.90 this morning. Lower Bollinger Band, oversold. So we had that. And then the last stock I'm going to show you is Quantum Space, which was talked about as kind of the possibility of being somewhat of a fraud. This is an EV, but more it's a battery company, supposedly a battery technology company, started as a SPAC. $10, consolidated, had its first run from 10 to 25 in, a week, came back in and traded, in this 11 and a half, $12 area. And then when the news hit, it moved from that $12 area. This one was amazing. 132. Almost 133. And as quickly as it got there the following week, it was 84 again, down 30. It has slowly eroded, and they had earnings today. It was a wider than expected loss. The stock had closed around 29.48 after trading 26, so it did too have a bounce. And tonight it's about $1.25 lower. So that was pretty much it on the stocks. And it was a really mixed market, as I mentioned. But I want to get to the commodities because this was part of the Druckenmiller issue, that we have a great deal of inflation in the system. And I'm not going to go into all of it, but I will tell you that he talks about the fact that at the rate that we're going right now, if interest rates continue to perk up, that he sees the interest on the massive amount of debt that we have generated through deficit spending and some of the necessary stuff that he has no problem agreeing with, but not at this point. He's looking at the interest on the debt being the equivalent of 30% of GDP, not debt 30% of GDP, interest on the debt 30% of GDP. And that is devastating. It's devastating to the dollar. It will cause inflation that will only be dealt with higher interest rates, which will exacerbate the problem because as the interest rates rise, the interest cost rises. In any event, we had some really decent action in a bunch of things here. We had the oil, which was really all over the place. It was up on the pipeline news. It was back down. It touched briefly. I mean, we traded almost 67 here last week, and today we traded 63.68, so under 64, and coincidentally right on that 10-day moving average, which is where it stopped the last time before it rallied to a new recovery high. And then after being 63.68, it managed to close pretty close to the high at 65.28 and is higher again tonight. Not by a lot, but we come out of this consolidation the same way that we came out of this consolidation off that same what do you call it, same 20-day moving average, and we will see a new recovery high. More impressive to me were the gold and the silver. The gold and the silver have been, have had a nice run and we're consolidating. I'll show you the gold first, then we'll skip right over to the silver since that's where we have a position. Some of my people were able to get executions between $1.36 and $1.46 um, uh, earlier in the week, yesterday actually, right after the open, on the 100% up rule on the SLV calls. Some of them didn't, but those came roaring back today. As you can see, the gold had this couple of days of consolidation up here, just under 1850, which was what we were looking for as we rode that also 20-day moving average and bounced off it. We came back in, and today we touched the 5-day MA and also pretty close to the breakout here that sent us from basically, just over 1800 to yesterday's high at almost 1850. The silver looks pretty much the same, and I want to show you that because I think it's actually more impressive. It was stronger today than the gold was, which is not all that unusual when we get, speculation. Same exact situation. Broke out here at 27, hit 28 and a minor fraction, has consolidated across for 4 days. Bottom today was where we broke out to the upside, just over 27.18 today, and closing up at 27.67, and a touch higher, 27.70 tonight. If this was actually the high close today in this consolidation. So if we can get back above this 28, my guess is, 28.50 is pretty much in the cards. And that would be pretty nice. I believe our options, which traded as low as 91 cents today, closed at $1.29, up 27 cents. So we're not that far from everybody getting that first half execution at $1.36. I think that we probably go higher. These calls are SLV 24 and a halves. We closed 25.60. So we're $1.20 in the money. This is going to move on a penny for penny or close to a penny for penny basis to the upside. So, if the silver goes up another 15 or 20 cents, we may see another breakout and possibly get $1.75 or $2 for these. Back to the futures, I just want to go over a couple of quick things. The coffee also, one of my big favorites, broke out, pulled back. Today, or in the last couple of days, managed to test the breakout, traded down to $1.47 today, and which was almost exactly the point of breakout here. This was $1.47.65. We broke out and went to $1.55, came back in. Yesterday's low was 147.5. Today's low was 147.55. We closed on the high, a close above this number here at 140. Let's see. This high is 154. I'm sorry, 154.30. The next highest close was the next day, 152.90. Today's, as I said, 150.10. We go through that, we have another leg up. And everybody's favorite, the lumber, after 7 days in a row of limit up. Yesterday, we went limit up, limit down, which is exactly what we were talking about happens with futures like this. And today, we followed with another gap to the downside and a limit down close down $63 a thousand board feet. We've gone from a high here of 1733 to today's close at 1544. That's a 189-point drop. That's over 10% basically from yesterday's high to today's low. So, we're still up several 100% on this one, but, I'm going to guess 1400, 1450 in here would be an interesting place for it to stop going down. We have this, again, 20-day moving average that, comes through here at 1357. So we'll see about that. The dollar remains weak, and my concern is not the dollar so much as it is the bonds influencing the dollar. We have broken the uptrend line, as I pointed out, and on Friday with the numbers, I was very specific about getting back up into this area. We got a gift here for traders when we opened at 158 and change, and then when the poor numbers came out, jumping up $2.50, only to close actually down on the day that day and right on the trend line, which we broke yesterday. And today we closed below all of these closes, which were in the 157.06, 157.08 area. Today we closed 156.30, and tonight we're basically down one tick, which is really nothing. But the fact is, today's low was 156.24. Currently 156.29. So, we could easily break that. This low was 156.21. Back here, we're 156.06. So this, I want to show you a little bit longer term so you can see what I'm pointing out here. This is what we've done. We've had uptrends with breaks, consolidations and uptrends with breaks, and again, and again, and now again. So, this is bonds lower, dollar higher. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning. By the way, we did have the JOLTS number today, which was something like 8.1 million jobs unfilled, and the small business optimism number, which showed 44% of all available jobs unfilled last month. So, we'll have to see what the CPI looks like tomorrow. And, we'll see which way this inflation goes. Again, please watch the Druckenmiller. I will put it on the Daily Note, and it's already on the Discord room. So if you don't see it for whatever reason, you can go to cnbc.com and you'll see a picture of Druckenmiller. He was on with Joe Kernan early this morning, and they have a YouTube video of it. All you have to do is click on it, and I'm telling you, it is 10 and a half minutes consolidation of a 1 hour interview, and I think it's very important that you see it. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning.